Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to The Sweat. I'm your host, Jesse Cofield, and we're kicking off 55 minutes of DFS and betting advice with our baseball panel. DraftKings contributor Nick Friar. I don't know why I was about to say Jeff Ulrich. He's definitely not ever talking baseball. And RotoWire's Erik Halterman. Guys, want to get your favorite plays in each of the following categories. Batting leadoff, your favorite DFS hitter. Nick, who's it going to be for today?
I don't know how JD Martinez is only at 5.2K today after what he did last night and what he's been doing in general. He's mashing right-handed pitchers where he's got a 1.243 OPS, 8 of his home runs, 2 of his doubles are against right-handed pitchers, and he's going up against Spencer Turnbull, who I know he hasn't given up a home run versus right-handed batters yet this season, but he's still given up. Most of his earned runs are still coming against those guys. So he's a very vulnerable pitcher. And at 5.2K too, I know there are other popular bad options. I know, was it Byron Buxton's under 6K after I talked about him the other day, he was at 6.3. But I would think Martinez right now, when you're looking at a high price bat, Martinez is the way you got to go tonight.
All right. Where are you going to go on this one, Eric? Favorite DFS hitter?
Yeah, I'm also going to go near the very top of the pool. I'm going to go with Ronald Acuna. You may have heard of him. He's at 5,500. He's the highest scoring hitter on the slate, not counting Jacob Nottingham, who's played in like one game. He's taking another step forward, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise given Acuna's youth. Suddenly this year, he's walking more than he's striking out. Cut his strikeout rate from 29.7% last year all the way down to 12.8% this year. And he's making ridiculously good contact when he hits the ball, which he's doing it more than ever before. He's slugging 702, but according to StatCast, he could be slugging even higher. His expected slugging is at 838. His hard hit rate, over 60%, trails only Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. And he's getting the platoon advantage against John Lester, who is very much fading at the end of his career here. He did throw 5 scoreless innings in his season debut after spending the start of the year on the COVID-19 injured list, but he only struck out one guy. His ERA was over 5 last year, and it looked well-deserved. So pretty much I'm always happy using Acuna, and I'm extra happy with him today.
Yes, have heard of him. Eric, how about your favorite DFS pitcher? Let's see if I've heard of this guy.
Let's go with Danny Duffy at 8,800. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. He's a little bit too close to those aces, but he's actually pitched pretty close to an ace so far this year. His 0.60 ERA is not going to stick around, but the ERA estimators have him as a mid-threes ERA guy, which is quite good. He's facing a Cleveland offense that's bottom 10 by WRC+. Duffy is suddenly striking out guys. He just struck out 21% over the last 3 years combined, but this year it's all the way up to 28.8%. And that's backed by a jump in velocity by over a tick and a half, up to 93.8 miles per hour. So it looks like a real late career renaissance for Duffy, and I think he's got an easy matchup in a very pitcher-friendly park here.
All right, Nick, your favorite DFS pitcher, where are you going?
So this is actually going to go against Eric's pick for his hitter tonight. I'm actually going to go with John Lester at 6.4K against the Braves. And look, I understand Acuna is a deadly hitter, and I know that Ozzy Alvis has done well against Lester throughout his career. Marcell Ozuna's taken him deep a few times. But this is a team that is not doing well against left-handed pitchers this year. They're second to last in WOBA against lefties, second to last in OPS, and they have the 6th highest K rate versus left-handed pitching. And I know, look, there's no secret that Lester's aging, of course. I agree with that 100%. But Eric brought up the Marlins game. Well, he went 5 shutout innings against them, and I know he only got 1 strikeout, but the Marlins have the 3rd lowest K rate against left-handed pitching in all of baseball. They have the 5th highest OPS. Lester still shut him out. 4th highest WOBA versus left-handed pitching, still shut him out. And then top 10 in ISO versus left-handed pitching, I believe. So, and again, still shut him out. So this is he's going up against a team that, yes, he has some history with them, but they're struggling right now against left-handed pitching. So I'm going to go and take the recent form in Lester at 6.4K, where you got some high-priced guys tonight that you may want to invest a little bit more in, maybe Wheeler, maybe Cole, and now you have some savings so you can kind of wiggle around, or if you want to spend some more money on bats.
All right, let's just switch things up completely now. Nick, what's your favorite run line or money line on the DK Sportsbook for tonight?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Red Sox game for this one, and I'm going to go run line with the Red Sox. And look, minus 105 when it opened up at least. And I get they didn't come through last night and run line or just winning the game in general. But again, Spencer Turnbull, I talked about him before. I think the Red Sox are going to mash against this guy. More importantly, I think that Nathan Eovaldi, he's somebody I don't generally put my faith in. He's a hit or miss guy. I think he's like your prototypical 4, maybe 3, where he's gonna be really good one day and then the next day is like, okay. But he's going up against a Tigers team that is not good against right-handed pitching. They are second to last in WOBA versus righties, third to last in OPS versus righties, and then their highest, they have the second highest strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching. So I expect him to keep them down. And then the Red Sox offense, look, they still produced a little bit last night. So I have a feeling that tonight, where they wound up losing, you have Eovaldi on the mound against a team that shouldn't hit him well. I feel comfortable that they're going to win by at least 2.
Erik, where are you looking for this one?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna double down on my anti-John Lester today. Sorry, Nick. I'm gonna go
Unreal.
Atlanta over Washington at -113, so it's quite close to a toss-up. Atlanta's got the better lineup, 11th in WRC plus versus 22nd for Washington, and it looks like Juan Soto is probably still not going to be in the lineup, which makes the Nationals even less exciting on the offensive side. John Lester, I talked about, I don't have any faith in him at this stage of his career. And Drew Smyly on the other side has been really shaky. 8.05 ERA is not a guy you really want to put your faith on, but small sample still, and he was excellent last year. 3.42 ERA could have been even better according to the peripherals. Strikeout rate was at 37.8% last year, kind of out of nowhere, and that's cratered all the way back down to 20.7% this season. But it's still early enough that I'm going to believe that there's at least some of last year's Smyly there. And if there's even, 25% of last year's Smyly in there, that's a lot better picture than what Lester is at this point. And when you give him already the better lineup on his side, I think that's enough to make Atlanta pretty clear favorites here for me.
All right, let's take it home here, Erik. Your favorite run total. Which game are you targeting for this?
Yeah, we're going to go with Mets Cardinals. I'm going to go with the over 7.5. That one seems confusingly low to me. These teams are averaging 8 runs combined, so all it takes is an average game for them to hit that, which I think they're going to do. I think that over-under puts way too much faith in these two starters' ERAs for me. Taijuan Walker for the Mets has an ERA of just an even 3, but the ERA estimators have him in the high 4s. Basically, league average strikeout rate, but walking a bunch of guys, 13.3%. Low ground ball rate, 34.8%. So not a lot to love there, despite the fact that the ERA is pretty good. John Gant on the other side, 2.16 ERA is nowhere close to what the estimators say it should be. Well over 5, pretty much across the board there. Doesn't strike guys out, walks everybody. That works if you get an elite ground ball rate, but he's merely above average there. 28 strikeouts against just 18 walks on the season. So I don't think either of these pitchers is nearly as good as their ERA. So I think we're going to see some runs.
Nick, you were nodding your head. Seem to agree with that pick.
Yeah, I do agree with that pick. It's not the one that I'm going to end up going with, but I also because the last time that I put my faith in the Mets, they disappointed me. Shock of the century, right? But I'm actually going to go with the Rays and Angels over here. They're at 8 runs right now. And look, Andrew Heaney, I know the Rays haven't done particularly great against left-handed pitching. They've been, I think, the definition of fine against left-handed pitching, but he's coming off an outing where he just gave up 3 ding-dongs. So I have a feeling that he's not going to go and do that well. And then Josh Fleming, the Angels mash right-handed pitching. I know that earlier in the week, I put faith in Tyler Glasnow to get the over on the strikeout total. He did that, but then they still took him deep. Was it 2 or 3 times? So this is a team that has a 764 OPS against right-handed pitching, and they're 5th in WOBA against right-handed pitching. So I'm not going to sweat this one out at all. I think they're going to hit the over on 8 runs fairly quickly.
All right, just when you thought it was over, Nick, what's your favorite prop that you can get on the DK Sportsbook?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't get a strikeout prop in today, and I'm going to have to go with Lance McCullers. It's a weird one for this slate today for the strikeout props, and with McCullers, he's at 5.5, so I feel pretty comfortable with that. The payout's not as good as I would like it, but pay attention to that throughout the day. I know the games are early, which has been isn't ideal necessarily for that sake, but he's hit the over on today with 3 out of 5 times this season. And one of the times he came up short, he actually wound up with 5 strikeouts against the same Angels team that are tough to strike out. Yankees are middle of the pack in K per 9 or strikeout rate, against right-handed pitching. And when you look at the Yankees lineup, McCullers is K'd quite a few guys, quite a few of their big hitters multiple times throughout their careers. So I'm comfortable with him over 5.5 Ks tonight against the Yankees.
Yeah, 10-game MLB slate. Most of them are day games. Erik, what is your favorite prop that you can get on the DK Sportsbook?
Yeah, we're going to go with strikeouts too. We're going to go Nathan Eovaldi over 6.5, which is something that he doesn't do all that often, just 2 out of 6 times this year, 5 out of 15 last year, but he gets close often enough. The main reason I like this one is he's facing the Tigers, and the Tigers strikeout rate is awful this season, 30.8%. No other team is worse than 27.5%, so more than 3 full percentage points worse than anybody else. They're in a league of their own. Pretty much anybody who can strike people out is worth looking at the over there. Eovaldi close to league average strikeout in recent seasons, so it's not a sure thing, but it is at plus 112, which I think reflects that it's not a sure thing. And I'm pretty much, again, happy to look at any over against the Tigers in strikeouts right now.